Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Environment Sustainability Committee number 10 of 2021 on the 4th of November. Call for councillor attendance. All committee members are in attendance, so there's no apologies. I'll call for declarations of interest in matters on the agenda. There being none, move to business outstanding, of which there is none. Item 1 is confirmation of minutes. Confirmation of minutes of the Environment Sustainability Committee number 9 of 2021, held on the 7th of October 2021. Do I have a mover? Mayor Harding, a seconder? Councillor Madsen, thank you. Any discussion? No? Then I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous. It's carried. Item 2 is an officer's report on the EnviroPlan 25 Years campaign highlights. The Ipswich EnviroPlan celebrated 25 years in 2021. The EnviroPlan 25 Years campaign had two major purposes: to coordinate an awareness campaign to celebrate Ipswich EnviroPlan's 25th anniversary, and to encourage conservation, environment education and behaviour change. This is a report concerning the Ipswich EnviroPlan 25 Years campaign highlights. I'd like to call the respective officer to forward, if that's okay.
Good morning, Chair, Mayor, Councillors. Phil Smith here, Natural Environment and Land Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. For the purpose of further detail, I know it's in the report, but could you also just verbally run through the highlights?
Yep, as I say, most of the highlights are contained within the report, but some of the standouts were the EnviroForum and the opening of Harding's Paddock, which was well attended by both the councillors and members of the public and received some really good feedback. We had various online forums and workshops that people attended, as well as associated press releases of media that came through. The general feedback from the public was one of approval, and we get some really good positive feedback around the work that we've done, and also we had some feedback from neighbouring council residents from neighbouring council areas who weren't aware of what we had here in Ipswich in terms of our natural resources, parks, reserves, and many of whom attended the EnviroForum and were pleasantly surprised. So in terms of meeting those objectives that were stated that you went through, I think we certainly did a good job. I think we had over 333 people involved. A lot of those were kind of regular and usual suspects in terms of those people who are already passionate about the environment, but we did extend that reach to some new people as well, which was, again, part of the intention of what we were trying to do. So, as I say, generally well received, very good value for money as well is probably something that isn't necessarily picked up, in that we used existing programs. There wasn't much investment outside of what we normally do. We were just able to use existing, I suppose, methods of communications and just tweak them and improve them to get those key messages out. So, yeah, without wanting to ramble on too much, I think that was essentially a bit of a summary and highlight of the campaign. Yeah, unless there's any specific questions, I'll leave it there.
Sure. Yes, I certainly agree. The celebration event at Harding's Paddock was definitely very well run, and I commend yourself and your officers for the fantastic job that was done. Did you want to elaborate at all on any of the other activities, such as Great Restorations workshops, or?
Yep, can do. So the Great Restoration workshops, again, going back to the intent of what we're trying to do. We've had landowners on board at council for years and years and years, some ongoing kind of 10 plus years, and they've done some fantastic work, but don't necessarily get the recognition. A lot of it's off their own back, and we support that and facilitate that through grants and through having our officers go out and advise them and to do planning. They were really keen as landowners to show off what they'd done. They were very proud of the work they've done and very proud of their their gardens and bits and pieces like that. So we were able to open some of those gardens up. So out at Pine Mountain, we had a landowner there who's been very active, and we opened that up. And we were also able to open up our own reserves. So places like Grantchester, where we've done some acquisitions this year and been building for the past 3 or 4 years on a bit of a kind of koala-focused reserve out there. Whilst there's no embellishment at this stage in terms of pathways and kind of community access, we were keen to open that up and show people what we had, again, on our doorstep as an asset from an environmental perspective. Again, that was really well attended and sold out fairly quickly, and people, the feedback on that was fantastic as well. People getting to go and have a look at all the things that we've done as a council and that we've facilitated from the point of view of private landowner volunteer conservation partnerships. So that was fantastic. We ran some night walks as well, which were well attended and always very popular through our I think it was at White Rock with our Ranger Jody. Always sold out super quick. The coffee table book was another highlight, and I'm hoping that everyone has got a copy of that. And that's just another good way of kind of highlighting what we've got on our doorstep. Quite often as a council, we come into criticism for not being active, especially recently with the amount of development and clearing that's going on. What we wanted to do is switch focus to how far forward we kind of anticipated these kind of things and what we did in the last 25 years, preempting the scale and the speed of development by purchasing some of these lands, by helping landowners. So yes, we're aware development's happening, and it's we're growing as a city, but we've done a lot of bits and pieces in this space to kind of mitigate the impacts of that, both from the community and from the environment's perspective. So be forward in some of those messages, and I think as a whole we did pretty well in achieving that through various bits and pieces that we've done here, including the book and the open, Great Restorations open houses and things like that. So
yes, thank you, Mr. Smith. The coffee table book is definitely becoming quite popular. I've had numerous discussions within community, and extending beyond that, I'm very encouraged by the feedback that I've personally received as chair. Within the community, people are very aware. The awareness level of what their council is doing on their behalf in terms of environment and sustainability is very much being projected out there. And it's, I must say, not just the usual commentators. There are a broad spectrum of residents within the community who are aware of the activities that are, if I may say, CEO, that the branch, in terms of their delivery, has been expressed to me by community as outstanding. So if I may pass that through into the organisation. Yeah, and commend all those involved. And it's not just one item, it's that full suite of activities that council conducts within that scope. Even through to the Enviro Awards, I was absolutely amazed at the number of people who were aware of the awards and the winners of those awards. And that's what council should do is promote our Enviro heroes within the community and the good work that anybody within the community can become involved with. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll just check if any other member of committee wish to ask Mr. Smith any questions. No?
Thank you, and I'll pass on your acknowledgements and thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bill.
The recommendation is that council receive and note the key highlights pertaining to celebrating 25 years of Ipswich EnviroPlan. Do I have a mover? Councillor Madsen. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Fechner. I'll open the matter for discussion.
Just through you, Chair,
Yes.
I want to, I guess, pick up on a couple of the points that Mr. Smith was making about some of the negative headlines that we get about the clearing that happens, and I reflect on the corporate maturity here, and it's something that we've been saying since taking office is how can we celebrate those wonderful stories that exist in council, and how can we help the community understand the good work that we do within the control that we actually have. So this campaign, hugely successful, and I think it goes a long way to signalling the policymakers, these elected representatives here and now in Ipswich City Council, that our wider community actually cares about the environment, and it needs to be at the front of our minds when we're developing policy, you know, and looking forward to our new planning scheme. There's so many great opportunities. If we want to grab them with both hands, we need to act now. So we've got a very powerful voice in all of this on behalf of our residents, and we hear them loud and clear. It was so heartening yesterday at the Youth Sustainability Summit to hear a whole heap of primary school children across the LGA speaking so fondly of the environment and what they're doing in their lives to become more sustainable and to assist, you know, in that intergenerational equity that we always talk about. You know, what are we leaving? What is our legacy? So there is huge will in the community to support this. The Enviro Plan campaign for the 25 years that it's been in existence is hugely successful, and let's keep that going. Let's keep the voices loud, and let's make sure that we make some really great decisions in the time that we have in office here to ensure that we care about the environment.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Fechner. That's very well said, and I'd like to echo your comments about the event yesterday, the Youth Sustainability Forum. Absolutely amazing. I was likewise very heartened with, you know, Year 5 and Year 6 students expounding not only their breadth of knowledge with regards to sustainability, but also the depth to which their level of understanding is and the practical application thereof. They were discussing methods and methodologies and ways of improving the environment. So I, even at my young age, am quite confident that moving forward as time goes on, if they are our future leaders with those ideals, I feel very confident moving forward. Does any other member of committee wish to speak? Mayor Harding?
If I may, Chair. It's great to hear you talk about the Youth Sustainability Forum yesterday. I was unable to stay for one school, but hearing Springfield Central State School talk about their sustainability squad was very inspiring. But I think it's also really important to pay homage to the previous councils for setting this up, for having the forethought of setting this up, knowing that we are a growth area. But I also want to acknowledge Councillor Fechner too, during our budget discussions this year, ensuring rather than the Enviro Plan going up $1, went up $5 due to his, he was very persuasive in council in making sure that, we did allocate more funding to our environment. Thank you.
Yes, likewise. I totally agree. And that is the right thing to do. Any other member of committee wish to speak? No? Then I'll put the motion. Those in favour? It's unanimous and carried. Moving on, there are no notices of motion. However, we do have a matter arising. I've been informed that there is an error in the Ipswich Rivers Improvement Trust 2021 to 2022 annual precept report, which was presented to Council's Environment Sustainability Committee on the 2nd of September 2021. I'd like to invite Manager of Environment Sustainability, Kay Kavanagh, to come to the lectern to explain the issue.
Thank you, Chair, Mayor and Councillors. Kay Kavanagh, Manager, Environment Sustainability.
Good morning, Ms Kavanagh. If you may, please elaborate on the matter.
Yeah, as mentioned, there was a report tabled to the Environment Sustainability Committee on the 2nd of September, titled the Ipswich Rivers Improvement Trust 2021-22 Annual Precept. Following that, it was raised that there was an error within the report relating to a paragraph that stated, if there is a failure to negotiate and agree on an amount within a reasonable timeframe, the amount the local government must contribute will be the amount decided by the Minister. going back and having a look under the Act in Division 2 of the River Improvement Trust Act, that provision only relates to trusts that cover more than one local government area. As Ipswich Rivers Improvement Trust only covers the Ipswich LGA, then this provision does not apply. The wording within the report did not impact the recommendation, so it's suggested that the minutes reflect that a correction be made to the report to remove that paragraph.
Thank you. And so that will be done by a notation in the minutes of that meeting,
Yes.
in the report attached to that those minutes,
Yeah.
notating that it has been observed and the correction inserted.
That's right, yes.
Does any member of committee wish to ask Ms Kavanagh a question? No? Thank you. With that information at hand, I'd like to move the following motion: that the minutes notate a correction to the Ipswich Rivers Improvement Trust 2021 to 2022 Annual Precept Report presented to Council's Environment and Sustainability Committee on the 2nd September 2021, being the removal of the incorrect paragraph, quote, "If there is a failure to negotiate and agree on an amount within a reasonable time frame, the amount the local government must contribute will be the amount decided by the Minister." It's noted on screen if committee members wish to check. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Fechner? I'll open it for discussion. This is simply an administrative correction. There's no intent otherwise, so I'll put the motion. Those in favour? It's unanimous and carried. We have no procedural motions or formal matters, so I'll call the meeting closed at 11:34, and the next committee will commence at 11:45. Thank you, everyone.